So I read the article yesterday in BuzzFeed called "Here is the Powerful Letter the Stanford Victim Read Aloud to Her Attacker." And if you haven't read it yet, please do read it. I think it's a really important piece for all of us, men and women, to read. I'm really glad that this kind of thing is getting major news media attention. The piece had, when I read it yesterday, 1.4 million views. So that's fantastic. Summary of the article: a former Stanford swimmer who sexually assaulted an unconscious woman was sentenced to 6 months in jail because a longer sentence would have a severe impact on him, according to a judge. At his sentencing Thursday, his victim read him a letter describing the severe impact the assault had on her. In summary, just really quickly for those of you who haven't read it, she got drunk at a party and then she blacked out and woke up at a hospital. She later found out that she was being sexually assaulted behind a dumpster on campus, and two men on bicycles saw the assault and chased down her assailant and stopped him. And in her piece, I just want to read a little bit of it. I have a lot of things and a lot of reactions. I just want to talk about one of them in this video. One important key thing that it made me think of. So she says in her piece, "I don't sleep when I think about the way it could have gone if the two guys had never come. What would have happened to me?" And then earlier she had said that after she got home from the hospital, "I was not ready to tell my boyfriend or parents that actually I may have been raped behind a dumpster, but I don't know by who or when or how. If I told them, I would see the fear on their faces and mine would multiply by tenfold. So instead, I pretended the whole thing wasn't real." And so when she says, what would have happened to me if these two guys wouldn't have come, I'm worried that what would have happened is that he would have left her there. She would have woke up there behind the dumpster. Well, I hope she would have woken up and that nothing other terrible would have happened. And maybe gone home and taken a shower and, like she said, pretended the whole thing wasn't real. And that really worries me, that we as women are not talking about these things that are happening. I certainly have had a few moments in my life, especially in my late teens and early 20s, where at least one instance where I felt like I hadn't said yes, and it was interpreted differently. And another instance in which someone made a violent advance that was not welcome, and I was able to get out of the situation. And I really didn't tell anyone. I didn't tell anyone for a really long time. And I know that so many women also have a similar story or multiple stories like that to share. And it worries me that we're not talking about these things. Even just to say, I felt confused. I felt uncomfortable and confused, and I need to share. And I guess there's a lot of reasons why we don't feel comfortable talking about this. There's so much more shame for women in regards to sex, and a lot of slut shaming that happens. Like, women are shameful just for engaging in sex. We still carry that around with us in our culture big time, and it's preventing women from even just sharing these experiences at all with anyone. In the article, she says it took reading about her own self in the news for her to kind of finally have this conversation with her parents about it. And that makes me really sad. And I guess my my hope is that we start talking about these things more with each other if you're a woman watching this. Um, and something has happened to you sexually in the past that you haven't told anyone or that you haven't talked about enough, I challenge you within the next week to please share that experience with someone. This is my challenge. And I hope that you take me up on it. Reach out to someone that you know and trust. It could be a friend, it could be a therapist, it could be a parent, someone that you really trust, and just say, hey, I was challenged to talk about this thing that's uncomfortable to talk about because I want to practice. I want to practice talking about these things that are uncomfortable. So can I share something with you that I haven't known how to talk about and I still maybe don't know how to talk about, but I just feel confused and I want to share it. And just share whatever comes up, and let's practice. Let's engage in this practice of sharing things that are uncomfortable. And if you're a man watching this, I'd love for you all to listen to women share, and maybe as a man you've had this experience too. I really don't know. I really can only speak for myself as a woman and what I've experienced, but maybe for you there were some confusing times too, and maybe you want to share that with someone. So let's just start having these conversations and start taking some of the shame away, one conversation at a time. Thank you.